Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. We already tried out the EZA LR Great Ape Vegeta. Now it is the pinnacle of being a glass cannon LR Kaioken Goku, a unit who I do actually have dupes in. I have two dupes. He is level 10 links. I saved doing his potential system until his EZA come out. Good thing I did, because as I said, this Kaioken Goku is the epitome of a glass cannon, so I've just got additional dodge. Once I put skill orbs on as well, there's going to be more additionals and dodge because he needs it. Now, for rotation, I'm not going to lie, this isn't the best to start with. Only to start with. But we're going to have to firm it. We're going to have to get through. He is starting the turn with 200% attack and defense. And he is starting with a 474k attack stat, 375k defense. I mean, we can actually get him a bit of damage reduction. It's not a lot. By the way, I love his idle animation. It looks so good. Probably one of the best idle animations in the game. I mean, he does have type advantage. How much damage reduction can I get him? None. None. Absolutely none, because we need strength key spheres. We just have to hope that we don't get super attacked here, because I can get him damage reduction afterwards, or I could use an item. I'm not going to use an item because I'm not a bitch. Mama didn't raise one. We did get ourselves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5 strength orbs, because he does gain 4% damage reduction per strength key sphere he picks up. So we got ourselves 5, so that's 20% damage reduction. So not a lot. When you think on average how many orbs you're going to be picking up, even with an orb changer, you know, you're looking at probably between 6 and 8 on average. Even if you do get the latter, even if you do get 8 orbs, you're still only looking at about, what, 32% damage reduction, I'm pretty sure. So it's not a lot in the grand scheme of things. It's better than nothing, but it's not a lot. Especially because Goku doesn't have any base damage reduction or guard to say go with it. So that 32% damage reduction, if you were to get like 8 orbs on average, or even 6, the 30 mil attack stat is great. That's one thing Goku is going to be doing a ton of. Damage. Especially when you're raising your attack and defense massively by 100% on 18 key. So that 100% defense he's getting with the attack on 18 key is actually kind of massive. Literally. No pun intended. Literally. Because he needs as much defense as he can get, because he has no other defensive coverage aside from the damage reduction you're getting from strength key spheres, which, as I said, alone, it isn't going to take Kaioken Goku far. It's not a lot. As I said, that was one of my biggest gripes when I was going through his details, and what would have been better would have been if he had like base 20-30% damage reduction, maybe even 40, and then gained 4% damage reduction for every strength key sphere is obtained. That would have been a lot better. Like, I know Jeets is meant to be the more defensive one, Goku's meant to be the more, you know, the more offensive one. I get it. But that doesn't mean Kaioken Goku had to be a glass cannon. Like, don't get me wrong, from what I've seen from stats on, say, the timeline, he's got a decent amount. But with the type of damage I'm seeing from content for the 10th Annie, and if this is the direction we're going to keep following after the 10th Annie's done, he's gonna fall out very quickly. I don't know where you would rank him right now, but wherever he is, he's going to age quickly because he just doesn't have enough defensively. And that's why I've gone additional and dodge, because the dodge is going to help him massively. It's why I'm going to give him more skill ups to give him more dodge. And also because he gets 50% attack and defense on 12 key as well. So he needs as much defense and dodge as possible to go with his minuscule amount of damage reduction. But one thing he definitely does do a lot of is definitely damage. You saw that, 30 million. Especially with the amount of crit chance he has. He automatically has a 70% chance to crit in his passive. He is his own orb changer, which is good. He does randomly change key spheres of a certain type to strength key spheres. But when it comes to orb changes, and Dokkan's only ever really given this to units such as Buhan, Gohan, and Cell, which is they will randomly change orbs to their specific typing and also be a rainbow orb changer, because they build up attack and defense from every orb they gain. Whereas Kaioken Goku doesn't. All of his stats come in his passive naturally, like basic. So that's why he only changes random key spheres to strength key spheres, which on face value is handy, considering he builds up damage reduction for every strength key sphere obtained. But it's not like you're going to consistently get yourselves 10, 12, 14, 16 key spheres. It just doesn't happen. Getting half the orbs or half the field, it just doesn't really happen. I said on average, you're looking at like between 6 and 8. And even then, that's what? 24% damage reduction, 8% damage reduction. And as I said, with the way content is going damage-wise, like Golden Frieza was doing 6, 7 mil, and we weren't even finished yet. Now we have the Jiren stages, which I don't know what they do numbers-wise. But as I said, just going off Golden Frieza, it doesn't seem like he's going to have enough defense or defensive capability to help him in the way content is going, which I think is a massive shame because his damage is good, but he has nothing else to back it up. See, right now, we have a ton of orbs we can get. We can get him 8 strength orbs in total, which again is 32% damage reduction, which after he super attacks, it's not bad. It's pretty solid. But when you're talking 6, 7 mil rather than like 3, 4, as I said, it's only going to go so far. And even then, I'm in a spot where I need to give Goku some orbs. And I can't give him the ones in slot 1. Or sorry, I can't give him the strength key sphere. So I'm going to have to do this just to make sure Kaioken Goku gets himself the orbs he needs. And I mean, again, we're still getting 9. Which is 8 strength key spheres. Which again is 32% damage reduction. Which, as I said, it is solid. It's decent. I don't think it's quite enough. However, when it does come to key, he is getting key +2 per strength keys for obtained. So while he is his own strength orb changer, you're never going to struggle for key for him, which is good. And then for 7 turns from his entry, so we're 2 turns deep, he is getting key +10. So for those 7 turns, which to be fair, even though content is longer now, that's still pretty deep into a fight. He's going to be having a ton of key. You're never going to struggle to give him orbs. Unfortunately, you are going to want to give him as many orbs as possible if you do run him, because you want as much damage reduction as possible. And then when you're attacking with 12 or more key, 32.9 is really good, especially with the amount of crit chance he has. Because as long as he has 24 key or use an active skill, he has guaranteed crit as well. So the amount of damage you can do, honestly, is really good. It's sick. I won't lie to you. 32 mil with guaranteed crit, or even just a 70% chance, it's going to do damage to enemy health bars. But he's a glass cannon. He's a glass cannon. Like a very fragile, poorly built glass cannon. But with 12 or more key, he does get 159% attack and defense. With 18 or more key, he gets an extra 159% attack. And then, as I just said, if you activate his active skill, or you get 24 key, which for those 7 turns where you're getting key +10, and again, him being his own rainbow orb changer, you're probably going to get very close to, or majority of the time, get the 24 key, which means you're going to be critting or guaranteed critting for those 7 turns majority of the time, if we're being completely honest, which again, damage wise, very good, no question about it. But I said, unfortunately, he just doesn't have the defensive capabilities to go with it to kind of make it worthwhile bringing him for that damage. You know, if you have a Vegito, when you fuse, he's doing a ton of damage, but he also has a ton of defense and defensive capabilities, so he doesn't die while doing those ridiculous numbers. The same can kind of be said for Gogeta, not as much as Vegito, but again, doing loads of good damage with also a ton of defensive capability. Even the Carnival LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku might be a little bit less with dupes. You know, you're kind of looking at a similar amount, you know, 30 mil. Most of the time has an additional, which Kaioken Goku doesn't have, by the way. No additionals in his passive whatsoever. But then he's got guard and he's got dodge. And also he provides so much more to the team when it comes to the support. He's got guard and he's got dodge. As I said, if Kaioken Goku had a base set of damage reduction from anywhere from 20 to 40%, then the damage reduction he builds up per strength key sphere, it would have been so much better. Would it have been perfect? Would he have tanked everything for nothing? No, but that's completely fine. But if he had base damage reduction to go with the 4% damage reduction for every strength key sphere obtained, it would have been so much better. And it actually really would have made a lot of difference. See, look at this here. We're only getting 5 strength key spheres. That means we only get 20% damage reduction, which when enemies are putting out 6-7 mil, it's not going to make that much of a difference. I mean, at least the 100% attack and defense he gets on 18 key is for 4 turns. So I don't doubt he has quite a lot of defense, but again, with the way content's going, it's only going to go so far because of how hard enemies are now hitting. If he came out like 6 months ago, oh, he would have been amazing. This type of damage with that much defense he generates, oh, he would have been top tier. Now, I'm not saying he's bad, but unfortunately, as I said, with the direction we're going, it's not going to do so much. Like as I said, it just goes so far. He has a ceiling, and unfortunately, that ceiling is very low. Then also at the same time, maybe I'm being a little bit harsh. Maybe I should take him into some more difficult content, see how he does. But as I said, if Frieza's anything to go off of, unfortunately, it's just not quite enough. And your better bet is using a unit. There's a lot more secure and, you know, can tank a lot better or has a ton of dodge, for example. But damage-wise, honestly amazing. But he's literally what we would call a glass cannon. Haven't managed to use his active skill because we do need to get down to 59% HP or less. But that doesn't seem to be happening. But that's all good. And on that active skill, he will raise attack temporarily by 50%. Cause ultimate damage and have a guaranteed stun. Basically just big number go boom on the active skill. But as I said, ton of good damage. I think most of the normals he's fine with, which is good. I think a lot of super attacks in the game, especially going forward with content, will catch him. As I said, the one thing that would have helped him a ton, and I'm going to say it one more time, is if he had some built-in base damage reduction to go on top of the damage reduction you can build up per strength key sphere. That would have gone a long, long way. But again, maybe I'm being a little bit too harsh. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care, have a great day, and peace.